Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we're in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Lynn Nesbitt, and I'm chairing today's panel. Joining me on the panel is Brian Carlin via Zoom and Robert Krause, who is in the meeting room. Our assessor is Amanda Kilbourne, and our administrative personnel is Phoebe Graywood. We'll be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the applicant and the panel may have, and then the applicant's testimony, followed by questions that the assessor and the panel may have. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We'll be hearing items 1, 2, and 3 on our docket today. Ms. Graywood, please affirm the assessor's and applicant's testimony.
Ms. Kilbourne, please state your full name.
Amanda Kilbourne.
Do you affirm the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And Mr. McLeod, please stand. Please state your full name.
My name is Andrew Robert McLeod.
Do you affirm the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you very much, and good morning, Ms. Kilbourne and Mr. McLeod.
Great.
Before we begin with item number 1, we do have a preliminary issue regarding late evidence submitted by the applicant. Mr. McLeod, can you please give us an explanation as to why the evidence was submitted late?
And indeed, I did try to submit my evidence on time. Unbeknownst to myself during the submission that day, I did not know that zip files were not accepted via email. There wasn't any documentation to that effect. Once I did make that discovery, though, I had to unpack everything and resubmit each item individually through just trial and error of discovery during that process. I guess technical trouble would be my reasoning.
Okay, thank you for that. Our process now is we will, as a panel, meet in camera and determine whether or not we will accept your late evidence at this hearing. So, Ms. Graywood, I would ask that you put this meeting in camera, please. Thank you very much. We've considered the applicant's explanation for the late evidence, and we have agreed that we will accept the late evidence. So we will start with item number 1 file 25-11520 Armor Crescent. And Mr. McLeod, you are appealing the assessed value of your property. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kilbourne, then you may begin with your evidence, please.
Sure. Okay, so this is for 20 Armor Crescent, roll number 0707-486-0000. Excuse me. The property is located in the Woodhaven neighborhood. It's a one-story single-family dwelling built in 1958 with a 1998 H variant. It is 1,832 square feet with a finished basement, 3 bathrooms, air conditioning, and an attached garage. The lot size is 9,990 square feet. The comparable properties are 56 Pinehurst Crescent, 181 Harris Boulevard, 186 Woodhaven Crescent. Comparables 1 and 2 are 1-story, and comparable 3 is a bi-level. They're all single-family dwellings with the year built between 1956 and 1981. They all have finished basements and 3 bathrooms as well. They have air conditioning. They have air conditioning and fireplaces and attached garages. 186 Woodhaven has a sunroom. There's a Sturgeon Creek influence for 186 Woodhaven. And the time-adjusted sale prices for these comparables range from $566,400 to $598,400. The subject property is larger than these comparables and has more upgrades than the comparables. And based on these comparables, I believe the 576 should be maintained.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kilbourne.
Thank you.
Mr. McLeod, do you have questions for the assessor?
I
This
do.
is just where you can ask questions. We'll get to
Yes.
your evidence later.
Understood. I just want to ask the assessor, first of all, there are other comparables in size and square feet. How come those weren't chosen over these particular residences?
I chose the comparables in our reference period that were as comparable as I could get in size and age
Okay.
within our reference period.
Yeah, they're just, some of them are over 22% in living capacity difference than my residence. I just don't see them as a direct comparison.
They're as comparable to the subject as I could get in your area within our reference period. I can't look at any sales after April 1st of 2023.
Understood.
So these are the sales that I was able to come up with.
You mentioned that my property is highly renovated in your assessment. Do you have evidence to support that?
I can see the sale and the pictures of the property. And there has been upgrades done to your property. It's not an original 1958 home. There has been an addition added to it. The basement has been finished, those types of things.
All renovations I have here were done in 2000. And I don't believe are not considered new construction or new additions. There have been
The great
since
room
2000.
and the great room and the kitchen area was not done in 2000.
The great
Because
room,
there was a listing in 2009 and it wasn't there at that time. So
the great room definitely was.
Mr. McLeod,
Okay,
can you
yeah, fair, I'll
make
just,
this in the form of a question? Otherwise, you're getting into your evidence.
okay. I would like to deem that would you believe that these constructions are considered old construction and not new?
what do you mean by these old construction?
Any additions or renovations?
I think that the renovations and the additions are probably within the last 10 to 15 years. I don't know exactly when they were done because we don't have the actual permits for it, but there was definitely work done to the property
But you don't
that
know
make
when
this
those-
property more updated than the comparable
But
properties.
you don't know when those renovations were taking place?
It would be after the 2009 sale because I can
Do you
see
have evidence supporting that?
Sorry?
Do you have any evidence supporting that?
I'm stating it right now.
You're stating it, but.
I'm stating it under oath that I saw a listing in 2009 and the great room and the lit kitchen were not done at that time.
Why would you agree that though it's stated in 2009, there was a listing that the construction could have occurred earlier?
I don't know what you're asking right now. Can you repeat that?
Could you agree that these constructions and updates could have been done before 2009?
No, I don't think they were. Maybe the garage was done before that, but the kitchen and the great room, the basement, no.
Is this evidence submitted to the board?
I'm not allowed to submit evidence from the MLS, but I'm stating it under oath that that is what I saw on MLS.
Would you agree that these renovations were already prior to this current recent assessment, those renovations would have already been assessed?
We did not have our records up to date until we saw the sale that took place when you purchased it in 2024. So our records were not up to date, no.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. McLeod. Mr. Carlin, do you have questions for the assessor?
Yeah, so the only question I had is obviously the year built's the 1958. So the effective, the calculation for the effective year built was based on renovations post 2009, right?
Well, yeah, they were based on what was shown when the assessor that reviewed it saw the listing and the sale and had to update our records to account for the addition that we didn't have on our records, as well as the fact that there was renovations, like the basement was done, the living room, great room, all of those things that like just different types of upgrades that are not a 1958 home.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I take it that this property hasn't been visited directly,
No.
right?
No, not directly, no.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Krause?
You mentioned an addition,
Yes.
but do you have any other information for that addition? Or?
Just that there was an addition put on. It was to make the living room, great room, to open it up and add square footage, roughly almost 400 square feet. And we added it as we didn't have it on our records. We didn't have the deck on our records as well, and that was added to account for the fact that it wasn't updated in our system.
And this is all based on the MLS listing.
Based on the listing,
and then
I wasn't the one that did the actual adding of it, but we saw the listing, and then the assessor that did look at it looked into getting the form to see that there was the addition and the square footage and added it based on that.
And this is all post 2009, you believe, based on the MLS listing.
Like it could have started before that, like there was, but it wasn't completed. Like the work was not completed. The garage was probably there because the garage was part of it, and we had the garage on our record, but we didn't have the addition, and it wasn't completed it wasn't on the 2009 listing.
So when you say
Like the square footage was not, it was at 1,400, and that's what our records were, or just over 1,400, and we added the 398 square feet for the addition.
And your records, do you know when the last updated when it was purchased, but do you know when the last time it was updated, or is that, it's just sort of,
I just have notes from someone in 2011 stating that the addition has not been completed. So I don't know exactly when they were out, but or if they went out after that. But we never ended up adding it until this sale that took place. So it's been not properly assessed for many years, or a few years at least, with the addition not being there, as well as the deck.
there are notes that say in 2011 it was not completed.
There is a note, yes.
Okay. Thank you, those are my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And those were sort of my questions too. I was having some difficulty trying to understand what was there pre-2009 and what was there post-2009. So the garage was there pre-2009. The great room was post. It looks like post-2011.
Yeah, I don't know exactly when. I mean, that was the last note that I have, and then we have this listing. We didn't get proper permits sent to us, and we had to request some. I mean, it happens sometimes where, and we didn't have the correct information on file, and now we do, and that happens when we see listings sometimes, and now we've added it.
When you say you didn't get proper permits.
Well, I didn't. There wasn't a permit saying that there was this, so we had to get it ordered, and then the previous, like the other person that actually did the work to add this, we can see now that the addition, like the square footage, the proper layout of it, and it was added for now that this sale took place in 2024. We added it to be effective now for 2025.
Okay. And there was a question about these particular comparables. They were older sales, but the time adjusted sale price obviously takes that into account, right? Like they're not at 220. You don't have any 2023 sales in here.
No, I don't have anything that is close in size, like, and age. I mean, it's hard to find sales, I guess, for the size that it is in our reference period. I know that there are sales, but I mean, they have to be within our time period to look at them. So I can't look at anything after April of 2023.
That's right. April 1, yeah. Okay. Okay, I don't have any other questions, Ms. Kilborn. Oh, Mr. Carlin.
Just one other question. So the great room renovation, it was permitted though? Or there's no permit?
Well, I just have I just see the plans. So
okay.
I just see that there is a plan. So something must have been submitted to the permits department for us to be able to see that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I have a follow-up to that. Do you have the value of the permit?
I don't. I just have the plans and the layout. I don't know what the value is.
Okay. All right, Mr. McLeod.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson. I have a lot of evidence here that actually is dismissible. I didn't quite understand the assignment when I was putting these in, but in this evidence, though, I do have 5 listings in 2003 prior to the April 1st cutoff date that I would like to present to the board. Unfortunately, it's not in a very readable format, as Ms. Kilborn's, but
we do have your file,
yes.
249 pages.
I know. I apologize for that.
No wonder
that was part of my technical difficulties getting this information in. Now, upon my own review of my evidence, I'll be able to truncate the majority of this.
Right. And perhaps you can just point us to the relevant pages, because we all have your document.
Indeed, and I intend to do that. And I wish to just reference only 3 key major points in my defense. All of this information came from my realtor, and she's very knowledgeable in this regard in terms of comparables. As you can see evidence in, but again, most of this information occurred after the reference date. I could draw your attention to the spreadsheet that was submitted. There is a second tab at the bottom.
And which page?
That would be tab 2 at the bottom of the Excel sheet.
Is it titled?
It is titled Sales Comparisons 2003.
Okay, you just have to find it. Can you?
If you open the Excel sheet, down at the bottom, there are a series of tabs.
It's the second piece of evidence.
It's a second
Okay, that's
piece of evidence. Thank
helpful.
you.
Okay. Okay.
This is a list of all sales and comparisons in 2003. But I'd like to just, unfortunately, the majority of them are inadmissible. But I'd like to draw your attention to 5 listings in this sheet. I'm not too sure if you're technically savvy enough to be able to sort this information by sales date. But if not, I'd like to try, if you could highlight 5 particular residences. The first being address 159 Lake Street. It is row 9, I believe. And sorry, I had this all set. Row 9 and address 285 Stratford Street, which is row 12, I believe. 27 Armor Crescent, which is row 21. I'm having trouble seeing my own printout, but I believe it's 484 Seton Street, which is row 23.
464.
464, thank you very much. And 315 Nightingale, which is 30, row 30. These are all what my real estate agent believes are direct comparables to my residents. They were all within 200 square feet of my current residence. They're all sales in 2023. The majority of them have double garages. But the rest of the information is relatively similar. The Lake Street property has 3 full baths and no halves. The Sadford residence, sorry, this is a better one. I can now get off here. Has 2 full, 1 half. Seton Street, 3 full baths. Armor Crescent, 2 full baths. And Nightingale, which has 3, I only have 1 full bath, 2 half baths, a single garage versus these doubles, but square footage and livable area is all within roughly 10%, give or take. And a few of these are over and under, but all within 200 square foot of my living of my residence. I've taken an average without speculation or cherry picking. I've taken an average. I wanted to make sure that's what the board was aware that I was doing. Was not doing any favoritism with the selected properties from my realtor, and they've taken an average of these the living square feet and the sales price to get an average square price per square footage. The values you'll see on your sheet are only representative of the entirety, but I've recalculated them. I'm willing to do the math with you now, or
Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
but the average of the living space of these 5 properties is 1798 square feet. And the average sale price is 472,200, and which gives us a average sales price per square foot of $262.60. I do not have any external influences. The new construction that I'm aware of, or any construction that I'm aware of, that has permits actually officially submitted to the city of Winnipeg, were all done in 2000. One with a new electrical and an addition, both all closed in 2000, September of 2000. These are all the permits and information that I could find available at the city of Winnipeg. There is no sunroom on our house. And I do not believe any additions that I have evidenced on toured happened before or after that, to my knowledge. That I have actual evidence and proof to supply to the board. Any updates will have to happen before the listing that the assessor has given us before 2009, which would have been more than 15 years ago, and I do not believe constitute as new construction or additions. I think these are, and I'm unsure of how the board, but I would only have assumed that these would have already have been assessed in prior assessing years. I don't have any random notes around to credit to credit the supportive evidence. I think the amount of the increase is just too high. I see no substantive evidence or reason for this new assessment being so high. It represents a 24.1% increase of the prior assessment to now. There has not been 24.1% value added to my house. Aside from external influences like the market. There's no new construction or additions. I only have a single car garage, full bath. There's no beneficial amenities. I do not have a fireplace. I do not have a pool. I do not have a patio. I only have a half basement, not a full. For the amount of air square footage, only the original basement exists. There is no sunroom. There's no beneficial property influences, no parks. I'm far from bus stops, far from schools. I do not have any evidence towards this, but there's a leak that we found. We just moved in and we've discovered there's a leak from the snow melt in our basement. I still have to figure out what's going on there. But I just do not think that a 24.1% increase in value is warranted or reasonable. I'm willing to work with the board on an assessment increase, but it's just too large of an increase, and especially with what I believe the value of the property and comparatives at 262.6 square foot. My evaluation, my assessment on my property should only be $479,507 versus this $576,000, which is an outlier in all of the properties, even remotely in my area for square footage. It's just, if you look at the tax assessment, it's a red herring. It just seems very unreasonable.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. McLeod. Ms.
Yeah.
Kilborn, questions?
I just looked at the sales that you provided, which all of them are post-referenced except for one, which is the 159 Lake Street, that you're using as a comparable. That is a extremely dated estate sale. So would you feel that that is a comparable to your property, having a
I can only
dated.
I can only use my real estate agent and her
Okay.
advice as
So
reference.
that, yeah, so I mean, that property to me is not comparable to yours, based on the fact that it's extremely dated and an estate sale. The other ones, there's a couple other ones that are 4-level splits. They're not bungalows. So I mean, those are other, even though they're post-reference, but I feel that the sales I've provided are more in line with
I believe one of yours was one of yours was a split as well?
Which one?
Oh, I had it here, sorry.
Oh, it was a bi-level, but it's like,
A bi-level?
yeah, it's a little bit less, but a 4-level split to me is less comparable than a bi-level is more, because it's just the main floor and then the basement is just raised a bit. But a 4-level split has all the levels. But it is hard to find sales in this time period for your property. I just feel that the sales that I provided are a little bit more in line with a property that has had renovations, and the 21% increase that you're saying is because we had to update our records. There was 400 square feet of living area that wasn't being assessed. So that has to come into account at some point. We caught it when we did, and that is the reason for a percent increase higher than what a normal one would be, is because our records were not accurate. And we got it when we saw the sale of your property, which does happen.
My realtor makes the differ.
Yeah, and all her sales are post-reference, so those could be sales that would be used in the following reassessment for 2027. But for 2025, all of these sales, with the exception of
These
159.
sales were all done in 2023, prior to April 1st.
No.
In the assessment area, time period.
The only one that
According to the spreadsheet, they are like, unless you have.
If you go
the
through.
register sales, we go by register sales date, so it's possible that they sold before April 1st. I can't look at anything until the register sales date is in our record. So the only one that I can see that was in before April 1st of 2023 is 159 Lake Street, which is the really dated property. So all the other sales that are taking place after April 1st, or the register sales date is after April 1st, will be in our system for the next reassessment of 2027.
Ms. Kilbourne, do you have questions?
I don't have questions, no.
Thank you. Mr. Kraus, questions?
These, so the five that you've submitted,
Mhm.
are they like other, I know that Marmot Crescent is in the same neighborhood, are the other ones in the same neighborhood as well?
Relatively in the same neighborhood, or as my realtor provided to me, is direct comparisons in the sales area.
And are they the same lot size? I don't see that.
I would have to go, we'd have to go through all of these parcels.
They're all in.
Everything is in here.
Okay.
I have left nothing, I just did not add it in my spreadsheet for quick reference, so I apologize.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, those are my questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Carlin.
No, I don't think I have any questions. Thank you.
Mr. McLeod, can you show us pictures of your house?
I can.
Okay, where am I going?
Yeah, absolutely. If you open up the PDF document that was provided.
Okay.
If you go to, I believe it is, hold on. It is right at the beginning, I believe. I've taken some photos from the past from Google Maps and Street View. You'll see snapshots from I just took one the other day from 2015, I believe is on page 2. There's an old one from 2007, which has the same roof line as the ones in 2003, or excuse me, 2009, 2015, and the most recent. Any additions, including the great room, would have changed the roof line drastically. And you can even see in 2007, the roof line had stayed the same as all of the other years previous.
Is the great room at the front of the house?
It is at the rear, but it's vaulted. And again, the roof line with the permits in 2000 had changed to accommodate the larger house, the increase in house. I believe, from my knowledge, at this time.
And can you confirm for me what value you're seeking on your property?
I'm seeking a lower value than it's currently being assessed at. From the 5 comparisons, if I was able to compare all of 2023, it would be a much larger comparison, a much larger value. But since unfortunately, I've truncated myself with this data to just my 5 comparables, which actually decreases the value of the house to $479,507. I'm willing to work with the board. I even to accept a 10% increase, or the 2003 evaluation of my evaluation here of $496,000, which would even a 10% increase, but to ask for a 24.1% increase from residences that I do not believe correctly represent my property, I just do not believe is reasonable.
So you're basically, when I look at that Lake Street one, which was an estate sale and very old, you're saying it's worth that amount?
The list price on that, the sale price for that was $500,000 or 500, roughly 500,000.
Right.
Sorry, 486. If we need to strike that property,
No, I'm just
evidence, I'm okay with it.
it was
because
one
it will only lower my assessed value. That's actually a larger value than the rest of the comparables. That's according to my data that I have in front of me.
And the one on Nightingale, which was also I think one of your comparables too, right?
Correct.
Is 521.
Correct.
So with a crawl space for a basement compared to your half basement, right? I'm just trying to understand.
I am strictly relying on my realtor's advice for comparables. You'd have to take it up with her, and I'm sure she grabbed all this information from the realty board herself.
I'm sure she did, yeah. And
yeah,
I've got no question with your numbers.
Okay, so to answer your question, I would have to defer to my real estate agent. I trust her judgment and
Okay.
interest.
Okay. No, that's great. Thanks. I'm just looking at your spreadsheet again.
Of course, absolutely.
I'm just picking out some of these.
Oh, please. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Which one of these on your spreadsheet do you think is most similar to your house, and why do you think that?
Well, I guess Armor Crescent would be. Well, I don't know. Again, I'd have to defer to my real estate agent. She's more knowledgeable in this matter than I am in terms of home assessments.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be able to pick out one.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I just thought I'd ask, see what you thought on that.
Yeah, I've been just staring at the numbers and the data that's in front of me and that's been given.
I'm sure you have, yeah.
I've been working really hard at this, and then late time decision realized that, oh, I've been looking at it all wrong. And I really needed to truncate what I was presenting to the board. So you'll have to excuse me if I am not able to answer these.
No, that's
my feelings on the houses.
No, that's quite all right. Thank you. I can
Mhm.
see that you've done a lot of work on your submission and it's appreciated.
Thank you.
Um,
I respect
okay.
the board and want to make sure that you guys have everything and it's all on the up and up.
Yes, no, thank you. All right, I have no additional questions for you, Mr. McLeod. So that will conclude the hearing on your property. Thank you so much.
All right.
And thank you for coming in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for your time. And I appreciate giving me the time of day.
Thank you.
Is that
Yeah, you're free to
everything from
go.
me?
Yeah,
Okay,
you're free to
all right,
go.
I'm dismissed. All right, very good. Thank you very much. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. This is Mr. Mednikoff. Hello there. Before we begin, we'll get you your testimony affirmed.
Please state your full name.
Boris Metnikov.
Do you affirm the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Will you be seated?
Good morning, Mr. Mednikoff.
Morning.
You are here for both items 2 and 3, the same property and appealing 2 different years, correct?
Yes, my question is,
Okay.
gonna do them same time, or we have to actually to make 2 separate?
We will do item 2 first, and it will be, you can provide, much more detail. And then when we get to item 3, it'll be just that much shorter because we will be dealing with a separate value. But I see that you have presented the same evidence, so you don't need to go through it all in great detail
Okay.
twice, but you
So,
might have something more to add to when we deal with item 3.
So item
Okay.
2 is the one for 2024, correct?
Item 2 is 2024, right? Okay, Ms. Kilborn, you may begin with file number 2. This is, or item 2, file number 25-66667 Oakdale Drive.
Should I read both of my comparables at the same time or just
No,
do
let's
20
deal
just
with
do 20? Okay,
2024
sure. Sorry.
because I note that you are using different
Different, yeah,
comparables.
because it's a different, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we'll do 1 year at a time so we
Sure.
don't get ourselves confused.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is for 2024. The address is 667 Oakdale Drive, and the roll number is 010096000245. The property is located in the Eric Coy neighborhood. It's a 2-story single-family dwelling built in 2023. It's 3,936 square feet with an unfinished walkout basement. It has 5 bathrooms, a fireplace, and an attached garage. The lot size is 33,955 square feet, and there is a traffic influence. The comparable properties are 18 Salmons Crescent, 1501 McCreary Road, and 1363 Loudon Road. They're all 2-story single-family dwellings built between 2004 and 2016. The square footages range from 3,362 to 4,004 square feet. They all have full finished basements. Comparables 1 and 2 have 5 bathrooms, and comparable 3 has 3. They all have air conditioning. Comparables 1 and 2 have a fireplace, and comparable 3 does not. They all have attached garages, and 1501 McCreary also has a detached garage. And 1363 Loudon Road has a sunroom. The lot sizes is quite a range between 12,291 to 223,931 square feet. And comparables 2 and 3 have the no sewer or water service influence. And there's also park influence for 1501 McCreary Road. The time adjusted sale price of the comparables range from 1,190,300 to 1,705,700. And the subject property assessed value is at 1,311,000. And I believe that these comparables support that value.
Thank you, Ms. Kilborn.
Thank you.
Mr. Mednikoff, do you have questions about the assessor's evidence?
Yes, I do, and I have small correction. I don't have 5 bathrooms, it's 4.5.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the one that's, yeah, one of them is a half bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have questions. Okay. Okay, so I'll ask this question. Would you agree that the location is one of the main criteria for finding a proper comparable for a property?
Yes, I agree. Location is one of the, yes.
Do you understand that the area south of Wilkes, which is one of the most prime and most expensive locations in the city, is completely different from Charleswood area where my property is located? And comparing this location, this is just make absolutely no sense.
Do you have a question?
It's a question. Do you agree with it or not?
I agree that the McCreary and Loudon, like they are on the other side of Wilkes, yes. The lot sizes for a lot of them are larger and they are, but they're in the same general area. So I went with sales that were in your area. I do think that they may be more desirable for some people, but then they also don't have the sewer or water service, so that could be a deterrent for some people as well. But it also could be that it is more desired for some people too. Yes.
Okay, please. Why is the most comparable property that located only 500 meters away from my property, that's almost the same size as my property, was not included in your report? That was sold in appropriate time frame. It's right there. How comes it's not in your report?
I don't know what property you're talking about,
Yeah,
but you can discuss
71
that when you're
McDowell
discussing your sales.
Okay,
These are the
Mr.
sales that
Mr.
I have provided, so you can discuss your sales
Yeah,
when you
Ms.
discuss.
Kilborn, Ms. Kilborn,
Yes.
Mr. Mednikoff, you are kind of getting into your evidence. So let's focus on what the assessor presented, and then we'll hear about your evidence.
Yeah, makes sense. A few more questions. When you come with a time adjusted price per square feet, what do you base your calculations on?
I'm sorry?
When you come up with a time adjusted price per square feet,
The time adjusted price is based on the reference date. So for 2024, it's April 1st, 2021. So it's what this property would have sold for as of that date.
so I see a price adjustment of 9%, over 9%. Where did you take this information to assume 9% is a proper price adjustment for the time?
That's what the modeling, they determine what the increase is based on the sales from the previous time period to the current time period. So from April 2019 to April 2021 for this 2024 time period. It's just what the sales were when what they've increased from the previous time period to the one that we're looking at right now for 2024.
Yeah, it's okay with the questions for now.
Thank you very much. Mr. Carlin, do you have questions for the assessor?
No. Yeah, I can see it's tough to get the comparables. But no questions at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Krebs?
I have no questions at this time.
Thank you. My question also related to those properties on McCreary and Loudon as comparables. And Ms. Assessor, you have responded to that already. So I won't go over that again. Mr. Mednikoff, your evidence, please.
Thank you for the opportunity to review it. And I'll start from saying the known thing, location, right? This is the main thing everybody knows, everybody who deal with real estate ever know that thing, because this is kind of the base of what we're basing everything. The price established first of all by location, and of course, all other things. But it's very important to find the comparable. And I'm a real estate broker, so my job is to sell those houses to people. And when I find the comparable, to explain them why I think the price or the value is what it is or not. So I know it's not easy to find the comparable for the property because of the size and the location. But we always have, we can't compromise on things like location just because it's not easy. While it's possible, and I will show you that I found a very comparable properties, and actually one of the properties that the assessor provided is a fair property as well. So let's go over. I want to start from going over the comparables of the assessor and reply to that, and then move on to my properties and explain. And please ask me questions if something is not clear. I'll try to make it as clear as possible. So when we're talking about the 2024 assessment, we have 3 comparables here. And I'm 100% sure that comparable 2 and 3 are not comparables at all. We cannot compare to them, and I'll explain you why. The page that was provided to me by the city shows 2 pages. One is the list of comparables, and the second one is the map showing the location of comparables. You have this, right? If you open it for a second, you will see right away what I'm talking about. It's not about a bigger size of lot. Area south of Wilkes is completely different area. Just from looking at it, you can see that one block on Wilkes is basically all huge chunk of Charleswood. The density, the property values, the neighboring properties is something that affect the value. When your neighboring house is 400,000 or your neighboring house is $2 million, you will live in a different area. So you cannot compare comparables 2 and 3 to my property. To give a little more details about it, I'll just go over a short list of things that make no sense in those comparables. So for example, the 1501 McCreary Road. Okay, I have my printout from MLS. I can read it from there. I believe the assessor seen it the same as well. 1506 McCreary Road shows that they have almost 6,000 square foot of luxury living. They have, like she mentioned, they have attached and detached garages. It's almost it's actually a 5-acre mansion. It's not a house. You cannot call this house. It's a 5-acre mansion that sits in a super private area close to ponds, lakes, whatever is there. It's luxury living space. It's just like comparing a small, family vehicle to a luxury SUV. This is exactly what we're doing right now here. And I think there is no point even mentioning this kind of comparables where we have a more suitable comparables that I will come to a bit after that. So I think absolutely no sense in this comparable. It just cannot be there and have to be taken out of the equation. Second one is the London one. Same idea, completely different area. It's an architectural design, super cool modern house. It's like it's art piece. It's not really a house. Just to put them beside each other, it just make absolutely no sense, and I just can't compare them. It's not a comparable property, and we cannot discuss it. Now, it's also from the sale of 2017. I'm not sure how far back I can go. I went only 2019 because 17 from 21 seems a little too far to me. 4 years is a lot of time. So I haven't went there to check when I submitted my comparable, but this property just, there's so many things we can discuss about why it's not a comparable. So I don't want to waste our time on that. What I do want to concentrate is the property number 1, and I would agree 100% it's a comparable property for multiple reasons. And I want to discuss this one, okay? So size-wise, almost the same. Location, kind of a similar. Let me go just over my list here. Location similar area-wise, Charleswood. It's way more quiet street. It's a dead-end street. And assessor mentioned that my street have a pretty high traffic street because it's leading many people to Wilkes. This is dead-end quiet street, so it's a better location, but I will definitely say it makes sense to compare to that location. I'm always trying to give everything a number, right? So it's very hard to say, okay, how much more this location costs because it's dead end street. I would say 30 to 50K more for that lot value just because where it's located. This property comes with a fully finished basement. That is additional 1,300 square feet to the property. It's mentioned here in the listing, which is about 100K of value to bring it to this condition. And it's have a landscaping, paved driveway, and there is lots of landscaping done, which I don't have, which is about 70K-ish. So what I'm coming is, I say, okay, it's a property to compare to, but we have to actually compare it to my property. So by removing the 30 to 50K, the 100K for the basement and the 70K for the landscaping and drive and everything else, I'm saying that if we try to compare this property to my property is gonna be 200,000 less for all of those things that I don't have, which is gonna bring us to price of $888,000. Okay, now I want to do a time addition because time passed by and price go up, but I completely disagree with the appraiser of the price. And you can see I provided you tables to compare to for average price in the area. So I assume you have those two tables, correct?
Yep, we have everything you've submitted.
So you can clearly see here, I chose October 2019, and then I went to March 31st, 2023, which is the cutoff for our appraisal there, for our evaluation. I actually made it for the second one, but you can see the price increase is 5%. 5%, this is what's happened over 4 years, based on average price in the area. We have this for all the areas, but I mentioned the 1G is the area that we're talking about. So I took the price that I came up with 888,000 and added a 5%, which is $11. By the way, if we take 888,000 and divide it by size of my house, we come to $227.45 per square feet. Adding $11.37, which is the 5% additional cost for your time, bring us to $238.82. Okay, and if multiplied by the house size, we come to $940. So I would say this makes sense with the proper adjustments of things that have to be adjusted. Okay, now the important thing now is to take my comparable data, because I think even though the comparable is not bad, I agree with that, my comparable is way better. And the comparable I'm talking about is the 71 McDowell. 71 McDowell have few reasons why it's almost an ideal comparable. It's located 500 meters away. It's a better street again because it's almost like a bay. It's like a small enclosed street, which have almost no traffic, but it's very close. It's have almost the same size, just 150 square feet less, which in this size of house means almost nothing, right? And this was sold in 2019 for $939,900. And I described in detail as much as I can in my submission to you how I came up to a value. I can go with you over that or just kind of a small note because you have it in front of you. But what I did is I said, okay, I increased the price because my house is bigger. So I adjusted for the size difference. I adjusted for the finished luxury basement that they have and I don't. I adjusted for the gorgeous swimming pool, huge, like fully landscaped, gorgeous backyard and the front with a paved stone that costs tons of money. And I adjusted also for the time. So I increased the price because mine is later than this. And I came up to a value of $732 with adjusted. I also mentioned in my submission that there's never two similar houses. All houses different. I'm sure that some things in my house are better than this and some worse. So I said, okay, let's just add 100K on top. Just throw it on top and it's gonna be somewhere around the right price. And the interesting part is I haven't seen the comparables of the assessor before I prepared this. I came up with a price of $830. And when I ran the numbers of the comparable property the assessor provided us at the address of 18 Summons, with all the adjustment, I came to a price of $836. Sorry, I came to a price of the $940 that I said, right? But the average between what I mentioned in my comparable and the average of the assessor values comes to this 836, which is basically kind of in the middle. And I agree that this price somewhere 830, 840, 850, you can't, $10,000 not going to change much here, but it's somewhere there. And the comparable that the assessor provided actually proves exactly the same point. But my other concern is, and I just want to mention it, is this. It's the feeling I'm getting, and I might be wrong, but the feeling I'm getting, and we'll get to the second assessment, and it's just prove what I'm saying right now. My feeling is the assessor had a price in mind they want to prove. And they're not looking for comparables that will show the picture. They will look for comparables, which are definitely not comparables, that will prove they are right. Because putting properties that make no sense to compare to, there is no value. And assessor have all the access to information same way. And my question was for a reason when I asked her, why haven't you put in your report a property 500 meters away with almost the same size? It's not possible you don't notice that. I think you avoided it on purpose, but it just kind of give me that idea, right? It's right there. So this is basically, I think, regarding my comparables. I have another comparable that is, like I said, it's difficult to find a comparable. I have another one that is not really a good comparable, but it's good comparable area-wise and size-wise. I think it's inferior, and this is why, and it's lower price, it's 710, and I mentioned that my property is more expensive than that.
Mr. Mednikoff, you're referring to 14 Oakfield Place?
Yes.
Okay,
Sorry, I didn't mention it. Yeah.
I note that this property is a post-reference sale for the time period we're dealing with now.
Oh, it's for the
So-
second one. I'm sorry, because I prepared for the second one. I'm sorry.
Right, so we'll
Yeah.
just, you don't need to go into this one right now, but
Makes sense.
perhaps
Sorry
for the
about that,
next
because
one.
my preparation was based on the last thing to do.
Of
Okay.
course,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right. Correct. Sorry. So otherwise, yeah, I explain why I don't agree with two of the three comparables. I agree completely with one of them. Actually, I know about that comparable. I haven't mentioned, and I will definitely mention in my report. It just was 2018, and I assume it's too far back to go, and I haven't went there.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Kilborn, questions?
No, I don't have questions right now at this moment.
Okay,
Oh,
pardon me?
no, I'll wait till the next, the next
Oh.
one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kraus, questions?
With your comparable for 71 McDowell Drive, do you know what the lot size is?
I should have it here. You might have it on the page. Give me 1 second. No, you don't have it here, but 1 sec. It's 63 wide. I can find the depth if you want to. It will take me a minute or two.
You,
You know what? I actually might have this. No, I can find it. I have access to the system. It's my.
I have it if you want me to, but
Yeah, please.
Sure, please.
it's 10,673 square feet.
Total size.
and now. You are. So for that one, you have given a house value. You're thinking, based on that, you were looking at an assessment of 830,000 for your property.
So I came from what my comparable and the assessor comparable, and the average is, the average showed me 836. This is the average. Of course, it can vary a bit. It's not exact science, but it's close.
Those are all my questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Carlin?
No, I have no questions at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Mednikoff, we've just heard that the lot size for 71 McDowell is 10,673 square feet. That's considerably smaller than yours.
Yes, and it's very easy to explain. Basically, what I have, you can see it from the map. I have a land lock in the back. Many properties in Charlotte have it, and it adds almost nothing to the value. I can give you an example of my own property that I own, and I just give you a live example. I own a property at 4410 Grand. It's a house, and behind it there's a huge lot for sale. Now listen, this lot for sale sells now. Asking price is $30,000. It's been in the market for a few years and nobody's buying. I talked to the agent and I said, listen, it's not 30,000, just for us that nothing can be done there. I offered him 20,000 for that lot. He said no. So I said, never mind. A landlocked piece that is not developed and cannot be developed to additional living space it's not worth much in Charleston. You can see there's lots of those properties for sale, land sometimes pop up in about 30K. So this is give or take the value of the land only. And there's like, if you're gonna open MLS right now, you will see some of those or expire because they go on and off in the market and it takes years to sell. And even the neighbors don't want them.
Okay.
So for me, it's a huge piece of grass to cut. By the way, I want to mention it now, and I'm not sure if you have any access to it, but so my frontage on Oakdale is 60-foot front, 60. The city calculated as I think 75, because they do calculation between the back and the front, and they give an average. And I talked to the city, and I said, what you're doing is not fair. Because what's happening is I have a neighbor with 60-foot lot right beside me. So basically, for 120-foot frontage stretch, we together pay tax, I think for 135. Basically, I'm paying tax for unexisted frontage. And I explained it to the city, and they said, we have a Formula Golf. And I said, yes, it makes sense. If I have a park beside me or a school or something, yes. But when you have a property owner that pays for that frontage, it makes no sense to charge me as well, but they still charging me. So I didn't kind of put it here. It's just so many things, but it's just not fair. It's basically double taxation on the same frontage because we have a frontage levy now, right? And it's double taxation on the same size.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mednikoff. All right, let's go to item number 3. So we're dealing with a different assessment year. So the assessment will be updated from then. Before we, let's move on. File number 25-74, Ms. Kilborn.
Okay, so can I just read the comparables since I already read his property, or do the whole thing?
Well, you do need to
Sure.
introduce the
Start from the
property.
beginning. Okay. Yep.
And then, yes, you don't need to go into a lot of detail on the property itself unless there's been changes.
Okay, no, there hasn't been. Okay, so this is for 667 Oakdale Drive again for the 2025 assessment time period. The roll number is 010096000245. The comparable properties for this this reassessment are 24 Swan Drive, 366 Glenbush Street, 1952 Mercury Road, and 54 William Marshall Way. They're all 2-story single-family dwellings built between 1998 and 2021. They all have finished basements. Comparables 1 and 2 have full basements, and comparables 1 and 3 have full basements, and comparables 2 and 4 have walkouts. They all have 4 bathrooms, air conditioning, and fireplaces. They all have attached garages, except for 1952 McCreary has 2 detached garages. Comparables 1 and 4 have in-ground pools, and the lot sizes range from 8,290 to 210,330 square feet. 366 Glenbush has a retention pond influence, and 1952 McCreary has no sewer water influence. And 54 William Marshall Way has a commercial influence. The time adjusted sales price range from $972,600 to $1,523,600, and the subject property is at $1,421,000. And I believe that these comparables support this value.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mednikoff, questions?
Yeah, so I'll just cut my questions to what the other questions. So I already asked there.
Thank you.
But I'll ask questions regarding those comparables. Would you agree that a property beside a Cinnamon Park or a property beside the river is a different type of property than property that don't have those amenities and a minute walk?
That's beside the river?
They're beside the river or beside a Cinnamon Park?
There is no property that's technically beside the river or the park on these comparables.
Well, yes, there are. 24 Swan is less than a minute walk to the park.
Like it's close to it, but it doesn't have, it's not right.
No, not backing to. No, not backing to. Close, like a minute walk from.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't hear.
Sorry.
I didn't hear, yeah, I mean, again, you're saying location. Yeah, there is something to do with location. Yes, I agree.
Okay, would you agree if I would say that a larger property have a cheaper price per square foot than a smaller property, similar to like buying in bulk? When you buy in bulk, it's cheaper than you buying separate items.
It typically, yeah, price per square foot does tend to, but I mean, there are other aspects than just size. Size is not the only thing, but
But
that
you
if
agree on the
everything else-
statement I made right now.
Yeah.
Then my question, next question will be how comes you bring us a comparables that almost a half size of my house?
There are very few comparables of your
I
size.
know.
You have an extremely large house. So trying to find 4,000 square foot homes is not, I can only find sales that took place within our reference period. Your house is large, your house is new, there's like a walkout basement, like, there's lots of attributes about your house in your area. It's hard to find houses your size.
I agree with you 100% that it's hard to find houses that are comparable. Does it mean though we'll compromise on not suitable comparables?
Sorry?
I agree with you 100% that it's hard to find comparables.
Yes.
Does it mean though that we'll compromise on unsuitable comparables because of that when we have a house that's almost the same size 500 meters away from my property?
I
Okay.
don't know that that was a question,
Yeah.
Mr.
Well,
Mednikov.
can we? Okay, so sorry, maybe I didn't structure it properly, but
I think you're asking about, again,
where
the
do we
use
do the
of
So you're
compromise?
asking about the property that you've already brought up, 71 McDowell?
Yeah, but I'm asking
Yeah.
how far are we gonna go with the compromise, going for a different area for half size just because we cannot find something else? It just put us out of the perspective. It's not
You
right.
can discuss your comparable, and I can
Yeah.
discuss it with you. These are the comparables that were chosen, and these are the ones that show that there are high valued homes in your area.
Yeah. The reason I'm asking this question is because
And-
you just
Mr. Mednikov, can you just stick to a question
okay.
on the assessor's evidence, please?
Yes, again, my question was about the size because as the assessor agreed, the bigger this house, the cheaper is price per square feet. The assessor brings half size and use the price per square feet to evaluate my property, which makes absolutely no sense.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now to the evidence. So I will go again, start from the evidence of the assessor.
You're just asking questions right now. We
Oh,
have,
okay, sorry about that. So I think no, I'm done with the questions.
okay, thank you. Mr. Kraus, questions?
Is there a reason why you haven't included 71 McDowell in your assessment? Am I allowed to ask that?
I'm looking at it right now, and it's definitely one that could be part of the discussion. But these are the ones that were picked, so I'm just looking at the ones that. But 71 McDowell could be used for this time period for 2025, with a time adjusted sale price. I mean, there are some things that are different about it, that the subject property is larger, like larger square footage of the land, newer walkout basement. So I mean, those things could be taken into account when using 71 McDowell as a comparable, that it could be comparable, but the subject property does have more I would say desirable attributes than the 71 McDowell.
Backyard.
And is there, like, I mean, what would you have as a time adjustment for that? Or
For the 71 McDowell, it would be at almost like 1.1, so 1,996,000. So almost 1.1 million.
And that's time adjusted.
That's time adjusted.
2023.
Yes, to 2023. So even looking at that comparable, like even if we use this one, which is fair to use, I still think the subject property is newer, has larger lot, has a walkout basement. Those types of things would add value to its property compared to that 71 McDowell.
Thank you, those are my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Carlin, questions?
I'm just looking at the comparables, and I guess there was a position presented that, you know, the square footage on a larger house should be a bit lower. It does appear that that is the case because,
Yes.
yeah, because you're looking at 361 on the total current assessment, and all the comparables are well over 400.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only question I had.
Okay, thank you. And again, Ms. Assessor, you have brought the one at 1952 McCreary, which is arguably a different type of neighborhood. I agree it's in that broader area, but it's in a different type of neighborhood, no sewer, no water, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Possibly a different market. Okay, I don't have any questions either. So, Mr. Mednikoff, we are back to you. And we are using your same evidence, correct? And
Yes.
and you maybe could go through with us the sales that are now relevant for this assessment year.
So I would like to start again. I would like to start from what the assessor just said, because it's important to mention. And she agreed that we can use McDowell, which is great. And she came, but I don't agree on many other things. First of all, time adjustment value of 1.1 is not correct. I showed you the tables showing 5% increase over that time period. It does not bring us to 1.1. 5% of 900,000 is 45,000-ish, 50,000-ish. It's gonna bring us under a million, not 1.1. So I'm not sure. So I'm showing you exact numbers where I take my price increase from, and it's MLS data. I have no clue where you're taking your numbers from and what supports that. I have actual support from the data of all of the city. So I would not agree with you on that. Time adjusted, of course, have to be done, of course. But I showed in my statement clearly, and you have it. Let me just find it from all the papers I have. I have too many. It shows I made a time adjustment for the property to increase my property value from the comparable by 47,000. This is the proper 5% price adjustment. So the property was sold. Property was sold for 940 plus 47. So we're under 990, under $1 million for adjusted type price. So this is mistake number one. I agree with you that my land size is bigger, but like I said, land size in this area do not cost much. But I have to mention, as from my page, they have a finished basement, luxury finished basement. It adds about 100K. They have a swimming pool. To install the swimming pool right now like this will cost me about 130, 140. They have a beautiful landscape backyard and front stone pavement that's gonna cost tons of money. I have the numbers because I came up with the numbers before I submitted them. So yes, we have different properties. Yes, I adjusted for my property being bigger and having time adjustment. And you can see all of it in the paper I provided. And I came up with a price of 732 after all adjustments. Now, yes, my house is newer. Yes, my house, some other things. So I just, without going to small details, said, okay, let's top it up with 100K on top. 100K on top, makes sense. Came to 830, which supported very close to the comparable you brought from previous discussion. So if my comparable that you agree that should be there is supporting your comparable and they meet the average of the same number, it just makes sense. I didn't went with a 732 I found. I said, okay, let's top it up with 100K because it's newer. It's never the same. But this 100K that topped up on top of the price I got actually bring us to the same average, which I think a great proof that it makes sense. The numbers are there. So this was about the note that we have right now that is just not, I would say it's misleading. because it's not mentioning swimming pool, backyard, paved driveway, and finished luxury basement. But remembering my lot is a little bigger, that it costs about 30K in this area, it's just not a real picture of what's going on. Now, I can go again of those comparables and stop me when it becomes boring. But McCreary Road, in this case, it's even more ridiculous than the previous. Because McCreary, this is again, it's a mansion of 5 acres. But it's not just this, they have an hangar. They have an hangar there. Open the map, you will see it's like for airplanes. I'm not sure what they use it for. They have a swimming pool, geothermal heating and cooling system. Gorgeous front of it, like it's just a different world. It's like, you know what, I would switch those houses if the guy, and you know what's the most ridiculous about this house? I'll tell you that, and I know you're not taking into consideration. But with it being sold for $1,550,000, with me saying this property is way, way, way above what I have, city value of this property is $1,281,000. So it's at this point it becomes funny. Because this property, according to the city, is cheaper than my property, according to the city of Winnipeg. And it's like when I see this number, I say, okay, like, I don't know. I have nothing to add on top of this because it says no. I can mention about another comparable, 24 Swan Drive. And the reason I like this property is because I sold it. It's my clients. They left Winnipeg and they sold the property and I helped them sell it. Okay. Cannot compare it for multiple reasons again, but I'll just make a small list of why. So it's less than a minute walk to the Cinnamon Park. And I had multiple offers on this property and I know what people been looking at. And it was my selling feature. Wake up in the morning and walk 1 minute to the Cinnamon Park. This is majority of views we had there was because of the location. This location, I would say this lot is about 300K over my lot, just for the location, because you can't find many of those in the city. Now, what I did, you don't see here, but what I did is just to show how different is the area. I made a small print that I can show it here. If it's I just make a small print of the city map, not to show values, but to show what we're talking about. The properties beside that property are all around $1 million each city assessment. The property around my property, except the new house that was built, are 400, 300. It just shows you, and don't forget, when people buy a house, they buy the neighborhood. If you have $1 million house, $2 million beside you, you're gonna pay way more for than if you have a 300 or 400 house beside you. It just decreases the value. So this is what people pay. So in this case, location is just insane, and we just can't put as a comparable. This property, like the backyard, is just insane. I can show you a video out of videos. It's swimming pool, hot tub, gorgeous landscaping, stone patio. Like then we have the front access with a paved stone, huge driveway. We're talking about hundreds of thousands on top, and fully finished, gorgeous basement. The guy's been owner of a marble store. Like it's top of the line. It's top of the line. Sold it, and when I tried to do so, like I said, I'm trying to translate it to numbers to make some idea, and I can show you the numbers. But when I break the numbers, when I calculate numbers of things they have and I don't, it's bringing me back to $240 per square feet price per square feet, which is almost the same. We had 238 or 239 with the other comparables. So what I'm showing is this: when you remove all of those cool and very expensive features people are willing to pay for, we come to the same numbers, around the $240 per square foot. All of them bring us to the same. And we can keep going, but I think the same about William Marshall. Like it doesn't have a river, but if you will take a look at I'm just going from the city data. If you open the city, I'm showing here. I'm not sure if I can show the camera if you're gonna see it. I'm showing just the screenshot of the city value, right? And you have a pathway to forest and the river, like less than a minute away. You have all the property values around $1 million around it. It's a small pocket, a very well and expensive built pocket with no traffic at all. That people are willing to pay premium to live there. And we're taking a property that's almost half size. So again, of course, the price per square foot will show more because it's just not the right way to calculate. And thank you for mentioning it. If you will see the assessment from 24, there are larger properties, and on the assessment 24, you can see that average price, although the comparables are not correct, but average prices 4 square foot there, coming to 278, 337, 393, which makes no sense. And here, when we look at the average prices, it suddenly jumps to 460, 444. It's a big difference for the size. So taking a property in an elite area, half size, just give us nothing. And on top of that, if we're gonna keep going, right? So they have so much other features I don't have. And this is why people pay that price. So again, fully finished lower level. They have a backyard that is done with they actually have this building have an outside structure, fully enclosed and heated, with the kitchen, with the dining area, and outside kitchen for barbecue. Like this piece there is $200,000. I can show you the pictures. When I was scrolling through the pictures, I was amazed how we can even, like, it's not a comparable period. I'm not sure why we're even talking about it. It's just day and night. My property, see, this is the thing. I have 6 kids, and my property is big because I need bedrooms for everyone. So I built a big box with bedrooms. It's not fancy, don't have all of this. But I have enough size to fit my family. We have 8 people in the house. Those houses have huge entertainment spaces, rec rooms, pools, and backyards, because this is the lifestyle people choosing, and it's fair. Everybody pays for whatever they want. They can buy it, right? But you cannot compare. Somebody who wants this lifestyle will not buy my house. You will not pay. And if we, and same story with this William Marshall, if we're gonna remove the cool structure outside and the landscaping and the paved driveway and the increase of value for the location, we're gonna come up to this approximate price per square footage, which is around 240 per square foot. It's always eventually brings up to this number, which actually makes sense. And last one is Glenbush. Again, we can repeat this only one. Glenbush is a brand new area, brand new neighborhood. I just printed out same map for Glenbush. I actually don't have it wasn't on the market, so I don't have the pictures. I wasn't able to see it so much into depth as other properties. I cannot tell you about the cool features they have because I just didn't see it. But I just printed the city evaluation, and I printed the same map from the city, where again shows you that the house around it are priced at 971, 904, 922. This is where they buy into. I buy into 300 and 400,000 neighbors. Not comparable. Just to finish up, like I said, my business is showing houses and selling houses to people. Recently, it was a very nice, newer house in one of the streets. It was on, I think, Buckingham. The house was gorgeous. I have my clients, and now don't forget Oakdale, Buckingham, Fairmont. They all have the ditches, right? We don't have the sewer system. It's all those ditches, and some people are afraid to drive there, not to sleep, especially in the winter. And I brought those guys. They have money to this property. And said, "Boris, the house is gorgeous. I don't want to live here. I don't want to see this falling apart house beside me. Don't want to drive by this ditch. I don't want to see this garbage beside my expensive house." And it's not for him. And it's exactly what I mean. The comparables, people buying into very prestigious and high-end neighborhoods. In my case, it's exactly the opposite. With a drive-through street where people driving, where school bus is driving because we have school down the street. So school buses in the morning and 3 o'clock nonstop, people cutting off 2 wheels from there. It's just not comparables. I think pretty much I said everything. Do you have any questions?
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Kilborn, questions?
Yes, okay. So you feel that your house is overbuilt for your street and your neighborhood, correct?
I think the house, the size is the main feature of my house is the size. And like I said, I built it that way because I need the size.
What type of finishings do you have in your
I have
house?
vinyl plank flooring. You have the photos. I have vinyl plank flooring. I have a kitchen with quartz tops, but all the tiles around simple tile. I have Costco shower base and shower door for $700 for one of my kids. I have bathtubs that cost $500 for the other bathtubs. It's it's something durable that's gonna last, hopefully as long as my kids using it, and then move on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kilborn. Mr. Kraus, questions for the applicant?
Yeah, just some clarification, and I probably just missed this, you had used a 5% time adjusted value. Where did you get that number?
I'll show you, yes, I provided this table, I provided 2 pages. And
Yeah,
it's sales by area monthly report from the MLS.
yeah,
Okay, and I printed the report from October 19. Okay, and it shows G1 area that I highlighted here.
what page is that? Is that the right? at the
It's
top?
first page, yeah. We don't need all the other page. Sorry, I actually was supposed to give you just first page and I sent you all of the city.
Okay.
So just first page,
One
1G, it's 409,880. This is the average price for this area
Yeah.
for October. And then I gave you a page of March 1st to March 31st, 2023. And you can see 1G area, 430, 478.
Yeah.
So I calculated as a 4.98 or something, so 5%. And it's all, database of all of the city sales. Like I said, I'm the broker, I have an access for everything, so.
And then the other question I had was, you were quoting 200 square foot value, $200 per square foot value.
240.
And where's that from? Sorry.
From a few places. So, first of all, if you will see my submission, what I did there, I took my comparable, the McDowell. And I can go over that. So I took the size of the house and then I added 46,000 for my house being bigger on top of the price it's sold. Then I reduced 100,000 for the finished luxury basement they have and I don't. I added 150,000 for the swimming pool and gorgeous full landscape backyard, which honestly is more than 150. I added 50,000 for the driveway, for the paved stone driveway, and that I don't have, I just have gravel there. And going to the next page, I added to the value 47,000 for the time adjustment. And just doing a calculation, taking the numbers plus and minuses, bring us to 732.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I put a small statement there saying houses are not the same, mine is newer, mine have this, they don't have that. So I just topped it up with 100K because I thought, okay, 100K is fair addition. Well, for all things I didn't account for, you can't account for everything. But what amazed me is because don't forget, I submitted it before May 5th, and on May 6th, I got the comparables from city because I didn't know what they compared to, right? So when I got the comparables from city, I pulled the listings. And the listing that, like I said, makes sense as a comparable is 18 Salmon's Crescent that is provided as a comparable by the city and wasn't provided by me for the only reason it was 2018 and I thought it's too old to go there, but I aware of this house. When I did this house, when I took the price the house was sold and reduced for the location, for the fully finished basement, and for the landscape, backyard with paved driveway and everything, I reduced total of 200,000 for all of this. And it brought me to a price of 888,000. Then on top of that, I added the time adjustment of 5%. Okay. And with that, it brought me to a price of 940. So I said, okay, now I have two reasonable comparables. One is 940, one is 732. Average is 836. Average is basically exactly the same. Like I said, let's top it up with 100K. So when I getting a number from the appraiser and from myself, and it comes to almost the same, which almost impossible, it just shows it makes sense.
Thank you. Those are my questions.
Thank you. Mr. Carlin?
Couple quick questions. So I was looking through the photos at the bottom. Those are all recent photos, I take it?
Right, I took it a few days before I sent it. I asked actually my wife because I wasn't home to take it.
Okay, fair enough. And do we, we've been focusing a lot on that McDowell property as a comparable. I just can't see, do we have an age on that one?
2005,
Yes,
2005, thank you.
so it's a newer property, it's not old.
but
Okay.
older than the subject property.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
about
yeah,
20
of
years
course.
different than what we're talking about, right? Okay,
Yeah.
Yes.
fair enough. And I think those are the only two questions I have. Oh, the other question was, where is Oakfield? That's another comparable that was listed. Oakfield Street.
Right.
It's in Charleswood. But
Yeah,
what
it's
about,
right, it's little, like it's 1 kilometer, I think, from the property. Give me a sec, I actually put it in my statement.
okay, yeah, no problem. It's
Yeah,
in,
it's 1
so-
kilometer away, 1 kilometer away, so it's, and
perfect.
it's almost, like, it's very comparable location wise. And just
But not age-wise.
not age,
Not
not
age-wise.
size, and this is why I said it's cheaper than my property.
Okay, those were my only questions. Thank you.
If I can add regarding the age, something very important to notice. I'm not sure about other places. I work in Manitoba as a broker for 12 years. People in Manitoba don't care about age too much. I've seen houses 1950 sold way higher than houses 2015. Just be not so the age people care about size, about location, number one. So is the age a direct factor on the price? Not at all. Not at all.
No, I understand that, but it is a factor, right?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, thank you.
And may I ask how old Oakfield Place is?
Also it's older. So let me find it.
If you don't have it, I'm sure the assessor.
1983.
Pardon me?
1983.
1983. Ms. Assessor, are you aware? Is there an effective age on that property? Has it been renovated based on your?
I
Notes?
did not look into that. I don't know, unfortunately. I'm just looking at the listing that he provided.
I can add
I don't
I have the
know.
listing, and if you can look at the description of the listing, I haven't been in this house, so I haven't been inside, but description of the listing says jaw dropping in-suite bathroom 2019. The kitchen was also remodeled 2019, open up to the family room. The oversized eating peninsula, both new quartz with gorgeous waterfall edge. Newer kitchen, 8 appliances will stay. So they did lots of basically bathrooms and kitchens. This is the money, and it seems like all of those done in 2019. So this is where they put the money into.
Okay. Okay, I don't have any other questions either. So with that, I think we have concluded item number 3. And I guess that means we've heard all items scheduled for today, and this hearing is now adjourned. So Mr. Mednikov, thank you very much for coming in, and thank you for all your research that you've done. And Ms. Kilborn, thank you for your presentations.
Thank you.
Thank you. What is the process now?
Process is.
Just wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go.
Yeah, the process is now, your hearing is complete. This panel will consider the submissions that are made in private. We'll make our decisions, and you will be sent a letter advising you of the decision.
Approximate
Okay.
time frame?
It will be as quick as we can. Phoebe, do you have a sense of how long?
We'll usually send it out within 2 weeks.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I'll get it out as soon as.
Just for a general idea. It's nothing gonna happen
Yeah.
if it's gonna take 3 weeks or 1 week.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.